Welcome to Ping 24 Updates, your daily dose of top global news. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated. The South China Sea is on edge, its waters bristling with tension as rival powers maneuver for dominance in one of the world's most contested regions. The USS Ohio, a formidable American submarine, has docked in the Philippines, making headlines across Asia and sending ripples through the international community. This isn't a routine visit, it's a calculated move from Washington, signaling unwavering support for its allies and directly challenging China's growing influence in these strategic waters. The USS Ohio, once a carrier of nuclear missiles, now bristles with advanced conventional cruise missiles. Its arrival in these volatile waters dramatically raises the stakes, reminding all parties of the region's fragile peace. Subic Bay, with its deep U.S. Navy roots dating back decades, is now the stage for this powerful show of force. The docking comes just after a series of tense standoffs between Chinese and Philippine vessels, highlighting the region's volatility. For Manila, the submarine's presence is a much-needed reassurance of American backing. For Beijing, however, it's a clear provocation, an unmistakable signal that the U.S. is willing to intervene. China's response was swift and severe. Beijing condemned the visit as dangerously destabilizing, accusing the U.S. of engaging in gunboat diplomacy and heightening military tensions. The U.S. insists it's upholding international law and ensuring freedom of navigation, while China views these actions as part of a broader strategy to contain its rise and challenge its sovereignty. As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the USS Ohio stands as a silent but unmistakable warning. One wrong move could tip the delicate balance and spark a wider conflict. This single deployment has transformed a simmering standoff into a high-stakes confrontation, with both sides now on heightened alert and military assets on standby. The world watches, anxious and uncertain, as two superpowers test each other's resolve, knowing that the next chapter in this maritime drama could have global consequences. What makes the USS Ohio so significant? This isn't just another submarine patrolling the world's oceans. The Ohio stands as a symbol of American naval power and technological achievement, a vessel that has evolved to meet the demands of modern warfare. It's not just its size, it's what it represents. The Ohio embodies decades of innovation, deterrence, and strategic thinking, making it a cornerstone of the U.S. Navy's undersea fleet. Originally built to carry nuclear missiles during the Cold War, the Ohio was later transformed into a guided missile submarine. Now, it's capable of launching up to 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles, each one able to strike with pinpoint accuracy. This immense firepower gives the Ohio the ability to strike targets hundreds, even thousands of miles away with precision, making it a floating arsenal and a force multiplier for the U.S. military. But the Ohio's capabilities don't end there. It can also deploy Navy SEALs while submerged, serving as both a strike platform and a covert operations base for special missions deep behind enemy lines. When the Ohio surfaces in a place like the Philippines, it's not by accident. It's a deliberate show of strength and reassurance to allies, signaling that the U.S. is committed to regional security. The message is unmistakable. The U.S. is present, vigilant, and always ready to act if necessary, projecting power and resolve across the globe. It's a constant reminder to adversaries of the immense power lurking beneath the waves, unseen but always ready to respond at a moment's notice. The Ohio is both a silent guardian and, if needed, a swift and decisive instrument of war, capable of changing the course of conflict. Its presence is a strategic signal, loud and clear, reminding the world of the U.S. Navy's reach and the formidable power it commands beneath the surface. The USS Ohio's deployment is about more than presence. It's about policy. The U.S. champions freedom of navigation, insisting the South China Sea is international water. China claims nearly all of it, building islands and flexing military muscle to enforce its view. The U.S. sees this as a threat to the rules-based order and global trade. By sending the Ohio, Washington is backing up words with action, reassuring allies like the Philippines. The Mutual Defense Treaty between the U.S. and the Philippines makes this visit especially symbolic. The submarine's mission is deterrence, making China think twice before acting aggressively. The goal, prevent conflict by showing the cost of escalation, would be too high. The Ohio embodies this warning. Peace is preferred, but the U.S. is prepared. It's a calculated move to keep the balance. China's reaction was swift and fierce. Official statements condemned the Ohio's visit as a threat to peace, accusing the U.S. of stoking conflict. State media amplified the outrage, painting America as an outside agitator. But beyond words, China is ramping up its military response, investing in anti-submarine warfare and deploying new technology. The so-called underwater Great Wall, a network of sensors and drones, aims to track U.S. subs in the South China Sea. This arms race beneath the waves is intensifying as China tries to erode America's undersea advantage. The real contest is silent, technological, and relentless. China's strategy: make the South China Sea transparent, not a hiding place. The standoff is as much about innovation as intimidation. The South China Sea is a global lifeline. 1/3 of all maritime trade, trillions of dollars, flows through these waters. Japan, South Korea, and other economies depend on this route for energy and goods. Any disruption would trigger economic chaos, energy crises, and soaring prices worldwide. The U.S. has a direct stake. Its prosperity is tied to global stability. That's why freedom of navigation is non-negotiable for Washington and its allies. China's attempts to control the sea threaten not just neighbors, but the entire international system. The standoff is about who sets the rules for the world's busiest maritime highway. The Ohio's presence signals the U.S. will defend open seas for all. The U.S. and Chinese navies are the world's most powerful, but in very different ways. Their rivalry is shaping the future of naval warfare, with each side bringing unique strengths and strategies to the table. China's navy is now the largest in the world by ship count, rapidly expanding its fleet to dominate regional waters and assert its influence in the Asia-Pacific. In just a few years, China has launched dozens of new warships, aiming to project power far beyond its shores. The U.S. Navy, though smaller in numbers, boasts unmatched technology, global reach, and decades of operational experience. Its ships and sailors are trained for missions anywhere on the planet, from the Arctic to the South China Sea. Its 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and a fleet of advanced submarines form the backbone of American naval power, allowing the U.S. to project force and respond to crises worldwide at a moment's notice. China, by contrast, has 3 aircraft carriers, but only one is fully operational. The others are still being tested and integrated into the fleet, highlighting the gap in experience and capability. The U.S. submarine fleet is entirely nuclear-powered, able to stay submerged for months at a time and strike undetected from anywhere in the world. These subs are a silent threat, capable of launching missiles or gathering intelligence without ever being seen. China's submarines are a mix of nuclear and diesel-electric types. While growing in number, they remain less advanced and more vulnerable to detection, especially in open ocean operations. America's undersea edge is its trump card. Its stealthy submarines can threaten Chinese ships and bases from the shadows, giving the U.S. a powerful strategic advantage that's hard to counter. That's why China is racing to improve its anti-submarine warfare capabilities, investing heavily in new sensors, ships, and aircraft to hunt for enemy subs and protect its own fleet. The contest between these two navies isn't just about numbers. It's a high-tech race involving stealth, global reach, and cutting-edge technology. Each side is constantly innovating to outpace the other. The recent visit of the USS Ohio, a powerful American submarine, highlights this silent, high-stakes rivalry playing out beneath the surface, where every move is closely watched. Beneath the waves, the real balance of power is being tested every day. The outcome of this undersea contest could shape the future of global security for decades to come. The South China Sea is a dangerous place for submarines. In 2021, the USS Connecticut, a top-tier U.S. sub, struck an uncharted underwater mountain here. The collision injured crew and damaged the vessel, forcing it to surface and withdraw. Initial secrecy fueled rumors of a clash with China, raising tensions. The truth, an accident, not a confrontation, was a relief, but underscored the risks. The region's complex, poorly mapped seafloor makes accidents likely. A similar incident involving another nation's sub could spark a crisis. In these crowded, contested waters, a single miscalculation could escalate fast. The lesson, the margin for error, is razor thin. The Ohio's visit is just the latest in a long history of U.S.-China naval friction. In 2001, a U.S. surveillance plane collided with a Chinese jet, leading to a major diplomatic standoff. American crew were detained, and the incident left deep scars. In 2009, Chinese ships harassed a U.S. Navy vessel, coming dangerously close and forcing a tense standoff. These incidents set a pattern: close calls, risky maneuvers, and constant brinkmanship. Chinese warships have cut in front of U.S. destroyers. Fighter jets have buzzed American planes. Each encounter risks spiraling out of control. This tense backdrop explains the significance of the Ohio's presence. It's a relationship defined by mistrust and constant testing of limits. The stakes in these waters have never been higher. Does the Ohio's presence make war less likely, or more? The U.S. believes strength deters aggression, showing China that conflict would be too costly. This peace through strength reassures allies and aims to keep the peace. But China sees it as provocation, fueling an arms race and deepening mistrust. Each side's moves are seen as threats by the other, creating a dangerous cycle. The world has a stake. Any conflict here would be catastrophic, shattering economies and risking escalation. The Ohio's arrival has brought tensions to a boil, clarifying the stakes. It's a test of resolve, but also a warning of how close we are to the edge. The world watches, hoping for peace, fearing a tragic misstep. In these waters, the line between deterrence and disaster is perilously thin.